Mist-covered mountains, winding rivers, and endless emerald rice fields, a landscape shaped by water, time, and resilience. For thousands of years, civilizations have risen and fallen across this land, leaving behind ancient traditions, vibrant cities, and a culture deeply connected to nature. This is Vietnam. Here, ancient temples stand beside modern skylines, traditional markets thrive alongside global commerce, and centuries-old customs continue to shape daily life. Stretching along the eastern edge of Southeast Asia, Vietnam is a country where dramatic natural beauty meets a rich and complex history. From the limestone seascapes of Ha Long Bay to the bustling streets of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, every region reveals a different chapter of the nation's story. Vietnam is more than a destination. It is a living narrative of culture, resilience, and transformation in the heart of Southeast Asia. Located on the eastern edge of the Indochinese Peninsula, Vietnam stretches more than 1,600 kilometers along the South China Sea, forming a long and narrow landscape that links mountains, river deltas, and tropical coastlines. This geographic diversity has shaped the country's settlement patterns, agriculture, and cultural development for thousands of years. Northern Vietnam is dominated by rugged mountains and highlands that extend from southern China, while the fertile Red River Delta supports dense populations and intensive rice cultivation. Farther south, the Mekong Delta forms one of the most productive agricultural regions in Southeast Asia, where a vast network of rivers and canals sustains farming and trade. Vietnam's strategic location made it a crossroads of cultures and civilizations. For nearly a millennium, the region was under Chinese rule, which influenced its language, governance, and philosophical traditions. In 939 CE, Vietnamese leaders established independence, forming dynasties that would shape the nation's identity for centuries. During the 19th century, Vietnam became part of French Indochina, bringing European architecture, infrastructure, and cultural influence to cities such as Hanoi. The 20th century brought major political upheaval, including wars that ultimately led to the reunification of the country in 1975 under a single government. The culture of Vietnam reflects a unique blend of ancient traditions, regional diversity, and centuries of historical influence. Shaped by indigenous customs as well as interactions with neighboring civilizations, Vietnamese culture emphasizes community, family values, and respect for heritage. Confucian philosophy, introduced during periods of Chinese rule, historically influenced education, governance, and social structure. At the same time, indigenous beliefs, Buddhism and Taoism, blended to form a spiritual tradition often referred to as the Three Teachings. Many Vietnamese households still maintain ancestral altars, reflecting the deep cultural importance of honoring family lineage. Cuisine is another defining element of Vietnamese culture. Known for its balance of flavors and fresh ingredients, dishes such as PH Letawan EDF and Barn might illustrate the fusion of local traditions with historical influences, including French culinary techniques. Traditional festivals remain an essential part of social life. The most important celebration is T Letawan EBFT, marking the Lunar New Year with family gatherings, ancestral rituals, and symbolic customs meant to bring prosperity and renewal. The cuisine of Vietnam is widely recognized for its balance of flavors, fresh ingredients, and regional diversity. Vietnamese cooking emphasizes harmony between sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami elements, often achieved through the use of herbs, vegetables, fish sauce, and rice-based staples. Rice is the foundation of most meals, reflecting the country's long agricultural history in fertile river deltas. From rice noodles to steamed rice and rice paper, it appears in many forms across Vietnamese dishes. Fresh herbs such as basil, cilantro, and mint are also essential, adding fragrance and complexity to everyday meals. One of the most famous dishes is PH Letawan EDF, a noodle soup traditionally made with slow-simmered broth, herbs, and thin slices of beef or chicken. Another iconic street food is banh mi, which combines a crisp baguette with savory fillings, pickled vegetables, and herbs, a reflection of French colonial influence on local cuisine. Regional differences also shape Vietnamese food culture. Northern cuisine tends to be milder and more subtle in seasoning, while central dishes are often spicier and more complex. In the South, flavors become sweeter and richer, influenced by tropical ingredients and abundant produce. Located in the northern highlands of Vietnam, near the border with China, Sapa is one of the country's most striking mountain destinations. Perched in the Hoang Lian Son mountain range, the town sits at an altitude of around 1,500 meters above sea level, surrounded by dramatic valleys and mist-covered peaks. Sapa is best known for its spectacular terraced rice fields, which cascade down steep mountainsides like giant green stairways. These terraces were carved over centuries by ethnic minority communities to cultivate rice on the rugged terrain. During the growing season, the landscape transforms into layers of vibrant green, while harvest time paints the valleys in shades of golden yellow. The region is also home to diverse ethnic groups such as the Hmong, Dao, Tay, and Jairi peoples. Each community maintains distinct traditions, clothing styles, and cultural practices, contributing to the rich cultural diversity of the area. Weekly markets and village life offer visitors a glimpse into customs that have been preserved for generations. Towering above the region is Phan Xipang, the highest peak in Vietnam and often called the roof of Indochina. The surrounding Hoang Lian Son National Park hosts unique ecosystems and a variety of rare plant and animal species. Today, Sapa is a gateway for trekking, cultural exploration, and mountain landscapes unlike anywhere else in Vietnam. Mist drifting through the valleys and terraces stretching across the hills create one of Southeast Asia's most iconic natural scenes. Located about 90 kilometers south of Hanoi, Ninh Binh is often described as one of the most spectacular landscapes in northern Vietnam. Known for its dramatic limestone karst formations rising from rivers and rice fields, the region is sometimes called Ha Long Bay on land. The landscape of Ninh Binh was formed over millions of years through geological processes that created towering limestone mountains, caves, and winding waterways. One of its most famous natural areas is Trang and Scenic Landscape Complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site recognized for both its natural beauty and archaeological significance. Visitors often explore the area by small rowing boats that glide through caves, valleys, and peaceful river channels surrounded by karst cliffs. Another important site in the region is Tam Kok, where the Ngo Dong River flows between rice paddies and limestone peaks. During the rice harvest season, the fields turn golden, creating one of the most picturesque landscapes in Vietnam. Ninh Binh is also historically significant. Nearby lies the ancient capital of Hoa Lu, which served as the political center of Vietnam in the 10th and early 11th centuries before the capital moved to Hanoi. Combining dramatic scenery with deep historical roots, Ninh Binh represents a place where nature and history merge, offering one of the most remarkable landscapes in Southeast Asia. Located in northeastern Vietnam along the Gulf of Tonkin, Ha Long Bay is one of the most iconic natural landscapes in Asia. Known for its dramatic limestone islands rising from emerald waters, the bay contains nearly 2,000 karst formations shaped over millions of years by geological processes and coastal erosion. These towering limestone pillars vary in size and shape, creating a labyrinth of islands, caves, and hidden lagoons scattered across the sea. Many of the islands are uninhabited and covered with dense vegetation, while others contain spectacular caves such as Sung Sot and Thien Kung, known for their large chambers and intricate stalactites. Ha Long Bay has long been connected to Vietnamese culture and legend. According to local mythology, the bay was created when dragons descended from the heavens to protect the land, scattering jewels and jade that formed the limestone islands. The name Ha Long itself translates to descending dragon. The area was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its outstanding natural beauty and geological significance. Today, traditional wooden junks and modern cruise boats navigate the calm waters, offering visitors the chance to explore floating fishing villages, hidden caves, and peaceful island landscapes. With its surreal scenery and cultural stories, Ha Long Bay remains one of Vietnam's most extraordinary natural wonders and a symbol of the country's breathtaking coastal geography. Located along the Perfume River in central Vietnam, HU Letter 1 EBF served as the imperial capital of Vietnam for more than a century during the Nguyen Dynasty, from 1802 to 1945. The city remains one of the country's most historically significant cultural centers. At the heart of Hue lies the imperial city of HU Letter 1 EBF, a vast citadel complex inspired by the forbidden city of Beijing. Surrounded by thick stone walls and a wide moat, the imperial complex once housed royal palaces, ceremonial halls, temples, and administrative buildings used by the Vietnamese emperors. Beyond the citadel, the landscape along the Perfume River is dotted with royal tombs built for Nguyen emperors. These elaborate mausoleums combine architecture, gardens, lakes, and symbolic design elements that reflect traditional Vietnamese philosophy and imperial aesthetics. Hue is also known for its refined cultural traditions. Court music, classical poetry, and elaborate ceremonial rituals developed during the Imperial era continue to influence the city's cultural identity today. The region's cuisine is equally distinctive, famous for its delicate flavors and artistic presentation. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Hue stands as a living reminder of Vietnam's imperial past. Its temples, palaces, and tranquil riverside scenery preserve the atmosphere of a royal city where history and culture remain deeply intertwined. Located along the central coast of Vietnam, Da Nang is one of the country's most dynamic and rapidly developing cities. Positioned between the historic cities of Hue and Hoi An, Da Nang serves as an important economic, cultural, and transportation hub in central Vietnam. The city is known for its long stretches of sandy coastline, including the popular My Key Beach, which has often been ranked among the most beautiful beaches in the region. With clear waters and gentle waves, the coastline has become a major destination for tourism and outdoor activities. Just outside the city center rise the Marble Mountains, a cluster of limestone and marble hills containing caves, temples, and pagodas. These mountains have long been considered sacred and remain an important spiritual site. Another notable landmark is the Golden Bridge, a pedestrian bridge dramatically supported by two giant stone hands. Located in the nearby Ba Na Hills, it has become one of Vietnam's most recognizable modern attractions. With its combination of natural scenery, cultural sites, and modern urban development, Da Nang represents the balance between tradition and progress that characterizes much of contemporary Vietnam. The city continues to grow as a major destination, connecting travelers to the central region's historic landscapes and coastal beauty. Located in the far north of Vietnam near the border with China, Ha Giang is one of the country's most remote and dramatic regions. Characterized by towering limestone mountains, deep valleys, and winding mountain passes, the province is widely regarded as one of the most spectacular landscapes in Southeast Asia. Much of the region forms part of the Dong Van Karst Plateau Geopark, a UNESCO global geopark known for its ancient geological formations dating back hundreds of millions of years. The plateau's rugged terrain is marked by jagged limestone peaks and narrow valleys where small villages cling to the mountainsides. Ha Giang is also home to a rich mosaic of ethnic minority communities, including the Hmong, Dao, Tay, and Lo Lo peoples. These groups maintain distinctive languages, clothing traditions, and cultural practices that have been preserved for generations in the highlands. One of the most famous journeys in Vietnam is the Ha Giang Loop, a mountain road that winds through the region's dramatic passes and valleys. Along the route lies the legendary Ma Pai Leng Pass, often considered one of the most breathtaking roads in the country, offering panoramic views of deep canyons and the winding Nho Que River below. With its remote landscapes and cultural diversity, Ha Giang represents the untamed frontier of Vietnam, a place where nature remains vast, traditions endure, and the mountains dominate the horizon. Located in southern Vietnam along the Saigon River, Ho Chi Minh City is the country's largest urban center and its economic powerhouse. Formerly known as Saigon, the city has transformed over the decades into a vibrant metropolis where history, culture, and modern development converge. The city's historical layers are visible throughout its architecture and landmarks. French colonial buildings, such as the Saigon Notre Dame Cathedral and the Saigon Central Post Office, reflect the period when Vietnam was part of French Indochina. These structures remain important symbols of the city's colonial past. Today, Ho Chi Minh City is known for its fast-paced energy, bustling streets filled with motorbikes, and a skyline increasingly defined by modern skyscrapers. Markets, cafes, and street food stalls line the city's avenues, offering a glimpse into everyday life in one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic urban environments. Beyond its economic significance, the city also plays a key role in Vietnam's cultural and historical narrative. Museums, historic districts, and nearby wartime sites help preserve memories of the country's turbulent 20th century history. As Vietnam continues to modernize, Ho Chi Minh City stands at the forefront of the nation's transformation, a place where tradition, commerce, and urban ambition meet in the heart of southern Vietnam. From mist-covered mountains in the north to fertile river deltas in the south, Vietnam reveals a landscape shaped by nature, history, and resilience. Across its valleys and coastlines, ancient traditions continue to live alongside rapidly growing cities. Places like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City reflect the energy of a modern nation, while natural wonders such as Ha Long Bay and the mountains of Ha Giang preserve the timeless beauty of the land. For thousands of years, Vietnam has been shaped by dynasties, trade, and cultural exchange. Through change and challenge, the country has maintained a strong sense of identity rooted in community, heritage, and connection to the land. This is Vietnam, a land of culture, resilience, and remarkable beauty in the heart of Southeast Asia. Thank you for watching Worldwide WONDRS TV.